Well, after 3 weeks, pretty proud of these guys. All 3 games were a little bit of a unique challenge, and I think they've showed up with good energy, good focus. We've started fast for the most parts, played off each other, offense, defense, got some things on special teams. I think we have, learned some things about our team some good things and some things we still need to clean up. I thought our defense did a great job tonight of creating turnovers and really holding those guys run yardage-wise to what we did. I'm telling you, that quarterback he's hard to tackle. It's a really good run offense. Part of their run is, when he's going to throw the ball, if it's not there, he gets a lot of yards scrambling, and you saw a few times tonight he did that. But overall, I thought those guys tackled well and contained him well. It was good to get Chico the ball in space. He's a playmaker for us, and so it seems like each game somebody else is making things happen at the skill position, so that's all good. We're excited to move on to league play.
Those things that you've learned about your team?
Well, I don't want to get into the specifics. There's some things we got to clean up because those are I don't want to just throw it out there, but I think that I think that these guys are pretty focused and they've worked hard, and I've said it I think each week. Really pleased with those guys since the wintertime. I think they've been really focused and they've worked hard and they pay attention to what we're trying to get done. So all those are really good things, and like I said, I think there's some things we've learned that we still got to get cleaned up and get better at, and those are some things that the opponent will put on and try to figure out.
Chris, I know you say you got to put the tape on and see all the kind of the X's and O's stuff, but from a sideline perspective, when the team jumps out to a quick early lead like that, like they have been able to do early in these games, how have you been able to see that they've been able to maintain their focus and kind of play the game the way that you'd like them to play it?
I think they have for the most part. The third quarter was very frustrating because their plan was to hold the ball, milk the clock, snap it late, and so that's fine. But we better execute. And so we had, I think, one time in the third quarter when we went backwards, and that was frustrating. We had some penalties that were a little bit uncharacteristic. A couple sloppy ones in the offensive line that, again, need to look at the tape to see what that was all about. But I know we got a holding call on a play that we should never have a holding call. There's no need to hold at all. So that was frustrating. Then we get a hands to the face on defense that moves the chains again. And, those are the type of things that will get us. We play close games. And I think the first 2 games have been really pretty good with some of that stuff. And, you get a team that's make your possessions count, which they really did in the second half. I think that kind of hurt us a little bit. I think our defense did a pretty good job, but that offense, certainly that one drive was not good.
How are you to see how your team plays and responds and matches up against a team maybe of similar or comparable athleticism and all that?
I think it's, we've seen this for a while. We've been staring at the schedule for a long time going, okay, we got our first 3 games, which have their unique challenges, but then we start the league in a tough way. To go to Arizona at a night game to open the league, that's going to be a challenge. And then we come home on a short week against Stanford and then go to, Eugene. And so we'll find out. We'll find out quickly what we have. So, but it's the next step in the progression that we need to go, and we've been paying attention to it for a long time, and the time is now.
Coach, last week Vita Vea had a big game up front. This week it was Craig Gaines.
Yeah.
For a long time they were in negative rushing yards. Can you talk a little bit about your defensive line and Craig Gaines? Yeah, those 3 guys, well, I think there might be more than 3, Greg, Vita, Elijah, all those guys inside, those inside interior guys are power. They're big guys, but they're very explosive. And so they can, they're hard to block. You can ask offensive guys, our offensive guys. And so, whoever's going to get singled, usually gets some knockoff. And really the plan was to try to take on double teams and let those linebackers make the plays. But they were doing a good job of getting knockoff and ended up in the backfield. And Greg's done a great job again. He's played at a high level most of the season so far.
What was kind of the defensive game plan against Caressa? You talked about his escapability.
Yep.
Was it to spy, or was it just, how did you want to
We,
do it?
we were very careful to trying to keep him in that pocket. So we were just trying to collapse the pocket and not create running lanes. And he spun out a couple different times, and that hurt us. But it wasn't just sick him, get to the quarterback. It was, as a group, push and squeeze on him and try to keep him in there. And I thought for the most part they did a good job. Like I said, I mean, he's elusive, and you're not going to keep him in there all night. But when they did, I thought the guys rallied fairly well to contain him.
Coach, a couple times tonight on punts, it looked like their coverage nearly got a hold of your guy.
Yeah.
Anything in particular? You haven't had a chance to look at the tape.
Right.
Was there anything that stood out on why that might have been?
Yeah, I think once or twice we kind of made again, I hate to say because we need to really look at the tape, but we may have had a wrong adjustment. And I think they were also gambling and bringing about 7 guys to one side. And, you know, we need to do something back out the other side. If they want to bring 7 guys to one side, we need to run the ball the other way. So we'll take a look at that punt team and see what we need to do to help them out.
Chris, you said Monday you really wanted to establish the run game. How'd you feel coming out of it?
You know, I don't know. I need to look at it again. You know, I thought it got going at times, but again, I still don't think it's necessarily where it needs to be. But, yeah, need to put that tape on and see really what we're thinking. But just general impression, I think we need to do a little more. I know I think our yardage was pretty good, but I still think we can be maybe more physical and come off the ball a little bit better. We'll see.
It's your starter at right guard, and it looks like Nick Harris has been coming in the second quarter.
Yep.
Also looks like Andrew Kirkland replaced Trey Adams. Is that just kind of a rotation thing, or are you trying to find something there?
Well, yeah, I think we're always trying to create some competition, build depth, all those things. Yeah, I mean that's what we're trying to do. I mean we're trying to get guys to play better and you know, build depth, all those things I just said for sure.
Good. All right.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you guys.